Alrighty, apes. Hello there. We're about to start our AMA, so I'm gonna connect to our Telegram. Oh, I'm live already, so I'm gonna shut up.
Hello, everyone. This is Venus DeMille. I would love to reintroduce myself for anyone who might have missed last week's podcast. I'm a blockchain enthusiast, and I came into crypto because I believe in decentralization. Those beliefs include closing the wealth gap through financial access, financial inclusion, and through the stealth rebellion of a decentralized landscape in which we find ourselves here with the Wall Street Bets app. Um, there were a lot of reasons I came into this project and why I tracked it for so long. One of the first reasons is just the project's potential itself. This is very much a DeFi ecosystem for everyone and a gateway into DeFi for the uninitiated to invest, to learn, and to understand the ropes of crypto. Uh, the professional team behind this is incredibly ambitious, incredibly professional. And it's backed by really smart and hardworking people, which you'll find is sometimes quite rare in the DeFi environment. And I think we're all very lucky to be supported by such an extraordinary team. Um, the scope of this community is also impressive. There are a lot of people who've been in DeFi for a long time, some people who have migrated over from stocks, some people who are still just getting their toes wet and learning what this is about and whether they want to invest. But we want this to very much be a home that people can come to and find the resources and the community that they need to succeed in this world. Um, and I'm very passionate about the idea of onboarding the masses into DeFi. I think there are still a lot of people in the world who are not aware that this exists or what it has to offer to them. And the more that our community understands, the more that we all benefit, and the better a future for DeFi for the world. So we're going to jump in with some current updates, both on the project and the market at large. So the last few weeks in DeFi have been quite volatile. We had a flash crash in the market. It seems to be somewhat stabilizing. We're not necessarily back to where we were, but I think we've felt a period of people being a little nervous and on the sidelines and starting to come back into this space and into the center. And I think people are starting to feel bullish again. But there's an extraordinary amount of resources out there in terms of thought leadership and analysts that can help you to understand, where we're at in this market cycle, where we're at in terms of the institutional investors that have come in, and how that's impacting this market cycle in a way that it hasn't in the past. Um, we also have a lot of interesting developments for Wall Street Bets. Last week, the Farming 2.0 launched with single-sided staking as well, and there's been an incredible amount of enthusiasm that's poured into that space. We've also seen some positive price action, which is the result of making some adjustments to how the farming works, and also a lot of great work that's going on behind the scenes. Some of that, marketing, some of that PR, some of that, I think, new adoption from people who are starting to understand what the beauty is of a governance token, um, what the benefit is of yield farming, and there's a lot of excitement about the upcoming ETP. So, coming up soon, we have Jamie appearing on CNBC's Crypto Banter next week. We have a lot of activity in our governance forum, which we're loving to see. And we have a video meme contest coming up. And we'll talk about more of that in a moment. Uh, Including some marketing activations, we have the Wall Street Bets Miami event happening this Friday. I'm sure all of you have heard that Bitcoin Miami is happening. It's in flux. Everyone's arriving. So there's a big event this Friday. Everyone's invited. We've left some information for people. We'll follow up with more information about that if you're in Miami and want to attend. And we also have a live NFT auction with Theo Goldman of Mint Gold Dust happening during that event. We've done a special minting of an NFT of Roaring Kitty, and Meme Farm, who's going to be our guest for today, was involved in minting the NFT. So in terms of what's happening on Friday, our 4 meme and sticker competition winners have been minted as rare 2 out of 2 NFTs each. Those are going to be joining the auction alongside a range of rare Pepes, which have recently seen 6-figure plus bids at previous Mint Gold Dust NFT auctions. So each contest winner will also receive 1 copy of the NFT. The auction proceeds are going to go to a charity which will be named on Friday. And in terms of the video meme contest, per our post on Reddit, capable apes can submit a creative meme video in support of the WSBDapp by US lunchtime on Friday for a chance to win a share of 100,000 WSB tokens. Entries will be shown during the private WSBDapp party in Miami, which is happening this Friday night. Party attendees will vote on your favorite entries to progress to a final round. And then you have a week to polish your video for a final vote of the top 3. The bounty split for the top 3 entries is going to be 70% by 20% by 10%. So it's a really lovely bounty. And we'll also use your video highlights in our upcoming Ape video marketing to ramp up publicity within the crypto, DeFi, and traditional finance communities. We need those video entries by Thursday at midnight so we can announce the winners and share the videos during the Miami party. So go have at it. For anyone who's been paying attention this week, both in the chat and on our Twitter, there is a fabulous new NFT platform called Meme Farm. The CEO of that platform is Mark Barisha. He's going to be joining us today. Everyone in the community is going to have a chance to ask him some questions at the end of the chat, but he's going to come on shortly and inform us as to how Meme Farm came about, how it works, how it benefits the WSB community, how our community can best participate in it and benefit from it, and a little bit more about what's happening in Miami this Friday. So I'd love to invite Mark onto the show now, if he's available.
I'm here. Hello.
Hello, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you. Thank you for joining us. So I'd love to open with your background in DeFi and how Meme Farm came about.
Sure. Well, I've been in the crypto space for about 5 or 6 years myself. The other team members, I'm actually the youngest of all the team members as far as being in the crypto space in general. But the rest of the team members have probably been in the crypto space for 7 or 8 years, maybe longer, honestly. And mostly in the past, we have been investors and traders, and we came up with the idea and we launched ApeCoin, which is the developer coin, and basically where everything kind of originates from. And so, of course, we launched this in July of 2020. And so, everyone loves going ape, right? And that was
Yeah.
and that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to go ape. We wanted to go all into the crypto space, but not just investing and trading. We wanted to start building things, right? So that's really where the name kind of generated from. It's okay. Well, we want to go ape. Well, let's go ape. Let's just dive in and start figuring out what we want to build, right? And so that's how ApeCoin came about. And just so to kind of clarify, in our little sphere is we have ApeCoin, we have Meme Farm, and then we also have Bust, which is our newest project that is in the works. And so everybody who owns ApeCoin is always going to get a piece of what we build, right? So you can think of ApeCoin as a developer house, kind of a skunk works in terms of we're constantly doing ideas behind the scenes, and some of them are terrible, some of them are good. Every idea I have, I always go with our other lead developer, Boomer Ape, and I say, hey, I got this idea. Is it good or bad? And he says, no, it's terrible. Or he says, no. He's like, actually, that's not half bad, but we can do it way better than that. So that's kind of what we do overall. And then, of course, like I said, the very first project we launched was the Meme Farm project, which I'm here to talk about for the most part today, and the partnership with you guys. So the meme farm, the concept was, okay, a few of the team members, they have a background. One of them is a former musician, one of them's a former artist. So we really have a background in terms of gravitating toward NFTs. And the reason why we gravitate toward NFTs and the reason why we built Meme Farm is to give not artists, musicians, and of course, NFTs go well beyond just what most people think of. And I'll get into that a little bit later. But we wanted to give an opportunity for independent artists to have a platform where, one, they can mint NFTs, right? And they can receive value from it. And so people may or may not be aware, but there's a few other projects where you can mint NFTs on the BSC platform, but we're one of the first. We will be rolling out a full marketplace. I know Binance is rolling out their marketplace as well, but we think that ours not only will have a ton of features that will give artists an opportunity and really just attract people to come use our platform. We have a ton of things ready to roll out. So right now you can mint on our platform. Buying and selling will be rolling out shortly, and then full auction house will be rolling out as well.
Well, this sounds wonderful.
Yeah, I'm just talking. So yeah. you gotta interrupt me a little bit.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, it sounds wonderful, and it sounds wonderfully ambitious. And I think it's always important to keep in mind that, this is the frontier of a growing environment and a growing economy. And so I think there's always room for more than one. I'm sure that you guys will find a way to distinguish yourself from, whatever Binance is doing and whatever the competition is doing. And it seems like there's been an incredible amount of thought that's gone into this so far, and history.
Yes, well, and one of the big things that we're going to be doing is beyond just, I think, what most people consider NFTs of, like I said, being art or music or some sort of video, is NFTs with utility, which I don't think most people even think about or know about.
Can you elaborate on what that means for the community?
Sure. So I'll give you one example. So we actually have a competition going on right now on memefarm.io, and you will have an opportunity to. So the memefarm.io, which I think I actually skipped this part of it, is there is a farming platform. You earn Meme Farm as a reward. But in addition to earning the Meme Farm token as a reward for farming, you also have the opportunity to win actual NFTs while farming. And one of the things we have going on right now is our Game Boy competition.
Okay.
So you'll be able to get an NFT of a Game Boy. That NFT will be redeemable for a real world physical Game Boy that is skinned out in Meme Farm logo. So that's just one example of an actual NFT with utility, right? So it's an NFT that's actually redeemable for a real world product or real world service, right? So that's one example.
That's great.
Beyond that, I think some people talk about NFTs, replacing like an actual real world homestead deed, right? So instead of having a warranty deed for your house or your car, it's another potential product where the NFT space will most likely take over. You're going to have an actual unique identifier on the blockchain that shows all of that. So there's a lot more we have in the works, and I can't share the really mind-blowing developments that we're working on. But just to give you a couple examples of what I mean by an NFT with utility.
And in terms of, so it sounds like the main hook for Meme Farm is that as an investor, you can come and, participate in a farming process. You don't necessarily have to be a collector who's going around acquiring, a collection of NFTs, and you can still get exposure to that market. Is that accurate?
Correct. Exactly.
Okay, great. And then equally, it sounds like your platform is going to provide a lot of exposure for the artists that are presenting on the platform. which, I think it's one thing if you already have a certain amount of credence in the art world, or in the NFT art world, I should say. But there are obviously a lot of people coming into this.
I think I lost you there for a second.
Sorry about that. So I was saying,
That's okay.
it sounds like, another big draw of this is for artists who are entering this space. Maybe for the first time, maybe they're young, maybe they're just struggling to get visibility in the larger landscape of NFTs right now, which is obviously a pretty hot landscape. So if they come to Meme Farm, it sounds like not only do they have the ability to mint their NFTs, but to be part of a curated selection that might bring a lot more exposure to their work and their profile.
Exactly, and that's where the NFT DAO, which I haven't mentioned yet, that'll be the next phase of the memefarm.io platform, comes into play. Like I said, that curated selection, you're going to have the community be able to vote on what NFTs are available for farming, and so that's what's going to give those smaller, the little guy, the chance. Which Wall Street Bets is all about, the little guy going up against the behemoth. And so I think that's another way that we really fit. Our ethos fits with your ethos.
Yeah, it sounds like it, and it sounds. I mean, again, I think there's this awareness that NFTs are this very hot landscape, and that there's a lot of speculative value in NFTs. But for anyone who's not a collector, or who doesn't have experience with collecting, it really does become a question of how do we get exposure to this without having to go all in on a few big gambles. And so I think this might be an interesting introduction for people to sort of be able to participate in multiple exposure to multiple NFTs without having to necessarily be the sole owner of the NFT. And I think the DAO, it sounds like, is where the community is voting on which to essentially put forth for farming opportunities based on how much they like the art itself.
Exactly. Yep.
Right.
Well, and like I said, we're super excited to partnership with you guys. We have another really big partnership that's going to be rolling out in about a week with a pretty huge project that I'm sure a lot of your community members have heard of, which I cannot share, but I just want to throw that out there.
You just wanted to tease us.
I got to throw in teasers. I mean, fair game. I have to say, I'm super excited because the next 8 weeks, for ApeCoin, for Meme Farm, for the Bus platform are really action packed, and there's just so much going on. So it's hard for me to contain some of the information, but I just gotta keep some of those tidbits inside. I get in massive trouble if I leak them.
Boy, we would hate for you to get in trouble, wouldn't we? Can you tell us a little bit more about Bust and how that relates to your ecosystem?
Sure. Well, Bust is by far the most ambitious project that we've embarked on to date. And so we one of the first things we wanted to do when we started ApeCoin was to develop a game and we were working on a number of ideas. And the original idea was going to be, Go Ape was going to be the name of the game. And we were kind of working on something relatively simple. And we just but we didn't really like the idea. So we came up with the Meme Farm idea. And so we really burrowed into that and developed that and went really hardcore on developing Meme Farm. And then as Meme Farm started to roll out, we said, okay, well, we've got this fleshed out. We've got, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, all planned out. They're in motion. Let's go back to developing a game. And so there's a really classic game called Bust-A-Bit. And so we kind of borrowed some of the ideas from that to develop the Bust-A-B&Me game. And when we were developing it, really, especially, and this was actually one of the precursors for why we moved off of the Ethereum platform and onto Binance Smart Chain, because a lot of the mechanisms we wanted to have, and even for meme farm, and especially for a busted BNB, just weren't feasible to do on Ethereum with, the just massive transaction fees. We needed to have a more robust platform that we could work on, and so that was a generator for us moving over to the Binance Smart Chain platform, which I think we were going to talk about later.
Yeah.
And so for busted BNB, the great part about it is, for ApeCoin holders as well as meme farm holders, is the game will help build permanent lockable liquidity for both tokens. There'll be buybacks and burns, and beyond that, we've actually taken it even farther from just being a game to being an entire platform on its own. So it's pretty exciting, and we're going to be rolling out details over the next 4 weeks, really giving the public the first preview of what we're actually doing. And I'm pretty excited about that. And once again, I can't share all the details just yet. But if you're following our platform, if you guys want, I'd love to have you guys join our ApeCoin Telegram. That's where you'll get some of the updates, and then you'll be able to get onto our busted BNB Telegram, and all of that's going to be rolling out here literally every few days. We're going to be rolling out teasers and getting things moving.
And it sounds like you guys are really, taking on the mantle of becoming really builders in this space. And I think this is what's sort of interesting at this stage of DeFi is, people are moving on beyond, as has Wall Street Bets, beyond simple token projects into building out protocols, building out systems, building out platforms, and finding ways to make those ecosystems interrelate. So it sounds like you guys are doing some really, really exciting things. I can't wait for all the secrets that you're not allowed to tell us today. And then I'd love for you to talk just a bit about, I think everyone here is familiar with the notorious gas fees that have fluctuated around the Ethereum network, with the understanding that Ethereum was sort of the primary blockchain on which people were designing and minting NFTs before the gas fees became sort of prohibitive for most people as a barrier to entry. And, in terms of your choice to do this on the BSC chain and to decide that was going to give you guys a unique edge and advantage, can you talk a little bit about that? Because my understanding is you guys are going to have much cheaper gas fees than OpenSea or Ethereum.
Yes, it's a really big deal, and the massive fluctuation on the ETH network is just unsustainable for the little guy. I mean, like I said, the whales, the big guys, they can eat a $200, $300 transaction fee, and they might even do a $1,000 transaction fee, up their gas just to make sure that they are getting their orders through. Mm-hmm. But for us, here's the point. The whole point of decentralized finance is to actually have a functional system, right, that works for everybody, right? Mm-hmm. And so a system where you're getting a $50 transaction fee to sell $10 worth of something, well, that doesn't work for everybody. It really doesn't work for anybody.
Right.
And to have any kind of actual platform, anything that has multiple transactions, whether it's minting NFTs, whether it's selling an NFT, trading an NFT, you can't have decentralized finance with massive gas fees. It's not functional. It's not feasible, and that was the main reason why we were so excited to move over to Binance Smart Chain. And there's a lot of benefits to having, to being on the Binance Smart Chain and having that ability for them to flex the gas fees down and change some of the dynamics of that. So it's hopefully, I hope Ethereum, I hope they get everything fixed. But the future is now. We don't have time to wait for the fix, right?
Right.
Like, I'm building a functional dApps in the here and now, and I need them to be able to operate on a chain that doesn't have massively outrageous fees now. Having it fixed 6 months from now does nothing for me. It does nothing for people using our platforms. So that's the number one benefit for being on Binance Smart Chain.
Okay. Now, can you, thanks for the explanation. And can you also, let's jump into how does this work in terms of, our community comes on to Meme Farm and they begin farming to earn tokens and NFT rewards. Can you kind of walk us through what the
Sure.
application?
Well, and one thing that we're actually adding, and we're going to be adding it shortly, is we're going to have a WSB token farming on our site as well. So we're in the works of adding that. So if you guys want to farm, you're going to be able to come. You're going to be able to farm with tokens you guys already earn. But as far as, I'm not sure how familiar your community is with farming. I think they're relatively familiar.
Yeah, I think we're getting pretty hip pretty quickly over here.
Yeah. I know you guys are, and I love what you guys are rolling out as well. I was checking it out yesterday and reviewing everything. But so yeah, what we want everyone to do is we want you to come check out our website, come to memefarm.io. If you're familiar with farming, great. If not, we have multiple tutorials to help you get started on farming. And like I said, the new thing about our site is you're able to farm the Meme Farm token as a reward. In addition, you'll have an opportunity to win. We have multiple competitions actually rolling out. But right now, our current competition is for the actual NFT our first NFT with utility, which is the ability to win an NFT that will be redeemable for an actual physical Game Boy, which I'm kind of surprised myself with how excited people are to try to win this Game Boy. But I guess, the nostalgia runs deep. I'm not sure. I think a lot of us, at least a lot of people I know that are in the crypto space are about my age. I'm 40. And so, we have a real fondness for that late 80s, 90s nostalgia. So it's pretty cool.
The first wave of the electronics revolution. And it was, and it was also a very interesting time in America in terms of, Japan turning out these really innovative electronic products and American consumers, really becoming the sort of primary market for it. It's interesting to see where we're at decades later, and to sort of see those products and those concepts being recycled in blockchain. So I think it's sort of like the circle completes itself in terms of the annals of history.
Yeah, you gotta love the retro going on in the space.
Yeah. So. And then how does the revenue split work between farmers and artists?
So for Meme Farm, that's going to roll out with the NFT DAO.
Okay.
So when the NFT DAO rolls out, that's when you'll actually get that revenue split.
Okay.
For the artist. And the nice thing is, like I said, we really wanted to give back into that concept of having an independent artist. Like I said, one of the founders was a former musician, so he knows all about record labels and getting a really bad deal and not getting a solid cut of your value. Mm-hmm. And so that was one thing that we really wanted to implement into the NFT DAO to make sure that the artists that are chosen, that are submitting their artwork, they're getting their cut. And so, like I said, this just goes down to the actual ethos of us as a company and what we're trying to do, and make sure that everybody, nobody's ever getting a bad deal, right? If that makes sense.
Yeah. And this is, I think a lot of people understand this, but for those who don't, I think historically, record industries are based on royalties, but there are just so many middlemen between the artist and the audience that over time and over shifts and evolutions of the recording industry, that royalty has went from a livable wage to an almost meaningless check that you get every quarter. Especially now that, Spotify has become such a leading platform for music. It's incredibly hard for musicians to earn royalties. So they tend to earn most of their money through touring, which has been at a complete standstill for a year now. So I think there's an incredible amount of anticipation from the recording industry, specifically on the musician side, to figure out how to really change the dynamic here, because touring is obviously not reliable, and they really aren't earning money from royalties the way that they once did. And similarly with the art world, the traditional art world, artists, you sell your piece once, usually through a gallery, and if that owner who acquires it chooses to resell it, and then the next owner resells it and resells it, you only ever earn from that first sale. So if you sell something for $5,000 and 10 years later it's in an auction at Christie's for millions of dollars, you won't benefit from that as an artist, as the person who created the work. So these are some really old models that have worked for a long time, or at least going to be acceptable. Which I think what NFTs have done is introduce a new paradigm where the artist can benefit from secondary markets, resales, royalties, things that have been sort of pulled from their grasp. So I do think that we'll see an incredible amount of support coming from the artist community, both the very established artists and the emerging artists who haven't been able to necessarily find their footing in that institutionalized system. So, I think the more platforms that we have that support artists and take into account their value, the more we can be part of shifting that paradigm.
And that's really what DeFi is all about is disruption, right?
Yeah.
Wall Street bets, DeFi, it's all about disruption, and that's and like I said, we just have to keep building these models, building these platforms, giving people the opportunity to change the entire landscape of how everything that's outdated and outmoded is going to work.
Yeah, I agree. And so can anyone submit an NFT to Meme Farmer? What's the selection process like?
So right now on the platform, you can get your own NFT. You can also submit the NFT to the NFT DAO, although the NFT DAO is not live, and it will be shortly. So that'll be the next big stage for the platform. Like I said, right now, minting is live. Buying and selling is going to be live here shortly. Then will become the auction, and then the full NFT DAO will have reached its capacity. So yeah, anybody's going to be able to submit. It'll be up for a vote by the community. Every holder of Meme Farm will have a say. It's similar to how you guys are operating at Wall Street Bets. And yeah, and that's the basic process.
Okay. So our community can come participate and benefit. It sounds like we have a few steps in terms of rolling out the DAO, but it sounds otherwise like they can jump on today and start getting familiar with the platform.
Correct.
Great. And can you speak a little bit to how the Roaring Kitty NFT came about that's going to be presented at the event this Friday in Miami?
Well, like I said, we had like I said, there's a little bit of buzz going around the community, especially on the BSC side with NFTs in general and our NFTs specifically. Yeah, the charity auction, like I said, that I love the idea, taking the winners of your meme competition and making sure that those people were the first Wall Street Bets NFTs that were minted on our platform, and then going down to Miami. And I really want to go down. I live in Florida, and it's about a 5-hour drive for me. So I unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be able to make it.
Okay.
But the charity auction is pretty exciting, and I'm really looking forward to. Once again, I cannot divulge the charity, but not up to me. The higher powers that be said you cannot share who's going to be the charity that will be utilized.
Okay.
But that was really just we kind of. The idea came about and said, hey, you got your meme winners. Let's go ahead and get these minted NFTs. Let's submit them for a charity auction. Let's make this happen live and in person. Theo Goodman, who's a great auctioneer, is going to be running the auction down there. And so I loved every part about the idea. So it just happened really organically. It wasn't, you know.
Great. Well, I like when things happen organically. It feels much more like manifest destiny than when we're trying to reverse engineer into these positions. And then, is there anything you can tell our community about the airdrop event that's happening on June 4th, or is that also still top secret?
It's not top secret. Every WSB holder will get an airdrop of meme farm, so that there's nothing top secret about that. So we're pretty excited for that, and we have a number of things in the works beyond that for your community. Like I said, we're looking forward to making this a real partnership beyond just kind of a one and done thing. Like, hey, great, we did this thing, and so yeah, we've got some more things in the works for you guys.
Is
that
it
you'll be able to benefit from. Say that one more time.
Is it anything you can talk about? Is there anything you can tell us about that?
I can't, not yet. So, but yet, like okay. I said, I think it's advertised though, as far as the airdrop. So
the airdrop, yeah. I'm just curious if there's any of the other things that you're teasing, if there's anything you can speak to yet, or if it's too soon.
Too soon, unfortunately.
Okay. So I'd love to talk about a few current market insights and, ask you to speak to how these may or may not be relevant to your business or to the general landscape of NFTs right now. But the first being fairly obvious, which is the Bitcoin Miami conference is looking to be the largest crypto conference in the history of, and it is expecting over 50,000 attendees. How do you interpret that from your post at Meme Farm, and what do you think that means for your business?
Well, I know some people are a little disheartened or disenchanted with the current state of the market. Obviously, the overall market, we'll just use BTC as the gauge because it is the king. People are a little concerned and they're wondering, well, I've heard a lot of bear market talk. Me personally, I ignore all of that. Just the overall, this industry is so nascent, and DeFi, I don't think people realize how few people have actually come into the space and actually are able to utilize some of these dApps. And I get text people know that I've been in crypto for years. People know that I was an investor, a trader. They know that I started my own crypto company. And I get texts every single day from old friends that I haven't talked to in forever, right? And saying, hey, I'm really interested in this. Can you help me out? Can you send me some information? The onslaught of people, and just got to call them normies, the onslaught of normies coming into the space is just starting. It's like I said, the parabolic rise of actual users, right? Because I think a lot of people talk about it from a standpoint of, okay, well, we're obviously we're investors, we want to make money, but it's about users, right? You have to have a user base, right? Just like the internet in 1994, right? Nobody, you kind of knew about it, but it was there, but you didn't really use it. And okay, great. I downloaded this picture. Same concept. It's the same thing. People are not, the average person is not utilizing blockchain yet, right? We're all on the frontier. We're the pioneers here. Those people, they're coming. Like all of those regular people, they're coming, they're learning. And a lot of people give a hard time about, these things like, Safe Moon, etc. These things are great for the space. They're giving the average person the opportunity to come in and get familiar with the space, and the excitement that they bring, the excitement that Wall Street Bets brings, that excitement coming in, that's what gets people past that hurdle of, well, how the hell do I use this stuff? Right?
Right.
Because the excitement is what drives people. And that excitement is just rolling in. It's not going to stop. Like people are concerned, okay, BTC dropped and Ethereum dropped and BNB dropped. None of that matters because the excitement is still building. It's massively building. And as more and more people like us continue to build dApps, continue to build things that people are excited to use, that's what's going to bring people into the space. I mean, the industry is about to blow up. I mean, this is, we're sitting in 1994, and nobody even knows what's going on. Anybody who's been in the space for 7 or 8 years is like, well, I've been in this forever. I'm in crypto, you feel like you've aged like 40 years.
Yeah.
Being in it for this long,
doesn't it?
But,
it does have a way.
Yeah. But so I think we all get lost in that. People have been in the industry for a long time, like, well, here we go again at this. But the regular people, they're just coming in and they're just starting to taste it, and they're just starting to dip their toe in, and they like what they feel. They got the toe in and they like what they feel. So they're ready to rock, and I couldn't be more excited for the space. Yeah. And I wouldn't be spending all my time and energy if I was concerned.
Yeah. So. Yeah. No, I think that's fair. And I think, there are so many indications that have come out just in the last couple of months alone, leaving aside the price action of Bitcoin and everything that follows it, but just, the number of hedge funds who've entered in educational institutions. And I feel like the more often you hear a government say, we're not going to allow this, the more it's growing and that they can't do anything to stop it. It seems like the world governments this year have hit the panic button of realizing that they're caught a bit flat-footed with something that's growing beyond their expectations. But I don't ever read any of that as bad news. I read it as good news that people feel that there's something to even address.
You cannot stop the decentralization train.
No, and it's hilarious. You can't stop it. It's hilarious. This idea in that there's anything you can do to block it. But it is, I think sometimes people don't always know how to interpret those headlines, because often they still can have a negative impact on the market, even if there's no sort of truth or merit to what's being said. And so this, the swath of news coming out in just the last few months alone, I think is indicative of crypto and decentralized finance reaching a real tipping point, not just culturally, and not just economically, but in terms of, on the world stage as a new iteration of society. And this was an interesting piece I was reading yesterday, was saying, half of hedge funds are now investing in crypto, which was up from $2 billion in 2019 to $3.8 billion in 2020. And that's not even counting, the level of investment in 2021 yet. Do you think that's driven by investor sentiment or actually by the hedge fund managers themselves?
Everybody needs exposure. Most investors are underexposed to crypto, right? You have to think about it at the standpoint for people that have a ton of money. When they start to say, I'm going to move 1% of my allocation of investments into crypto, that's massive, right?
Yeah.
We're a lot of us people that are already here, we might be 50%, 75%, 100% invested in crypto because we actually believe in the space. We're early pioneers. But when people with real money start to say that they're shifting 1%, and they're going to realize very quickly that even with 1 or 5 or 10%, they're massively underexposed. So when the big money starts rolling in to the crypto space, it's not going to stop. And that's what I say when this is just the beginning, right? Because right now you're talking about people with, the Paul Tudor Joneses of the world saying, okay, yeah, I'm going to put 1% of my assets into crypto. The Mark Cubans of the world saying, hey, I really love Ethereum, and platforms like Ethereum and BSC and Polygon, saying, these are the actual platforms that people are building on.
Yeah.
He's just dipping his toe in, right? So somebody like Mark Cuban's a really great example because he actually understands the technology as a software guy. He understands the actual technology, and he understands what people are actually building.
Yeah. Yeah, he's actually one of the more interesting, when I listen to his podcast, he's one of the few people that actually, of his ilk, who can speak to it from a developer standpoint, from a software standpoint of really understanding, not just that Ethereum is cooler, perhaps in some mind's eye, but really understanding the breakdown of why. And, I find a lot of the thought leadership out there does focus more on the market itself, and the direction that Bitcoin is going and the sort of, technical analysis of that. But it's really interesting to hear someone who really understands the technology breaking it down in a way that's really easily digestible for the audience. So he's a really good one to follow in that regard.
No, he's a great ambassador for the space for sure.
Yeah. So we want to open this up to some questions from the audience. I'm going to open with one question that we've already received. And then we're going to allow some people into the chat to ask some questions to speak with you directly. But our first question is from Floppy Drive. And Floppy Drive would like to ask the following. I'd like to see if you can explain the utility of meme farm tokens for holders. From what I can tell, we can vote on new NFTs, and it appears we may be able to use the token to buy some NFTs in the future. Is there anything else? If we buy an NFT with a meme farm token, can it only be sold for meme farm, or can it be sold for other tokens?
Sure. So you will be able to sell NFTs for other tokens on the platform. To answer that first part of that question, or the last part of that question, I guess. And your basic understanding of the meme farm token that you mentioned is roughly accurate in terms of the utility, but like I said, there's a number of features that we have not rolled out yet that we'll be rolling out shortly in the future that will add significant value to the token, right? Because anytime we launch a token and we utilize a token, the purpose is to have one, utility and value, and build value, right? And that's the key. I think a lot of projects don't do is they don't continue to build value for their token, right? They say, okay, well, this is the original value, this is the original concept, and then they stop there. And that's why you see a lot of projects floundering or failing. And that's the difference for us, is that there's always the next month, there's always the next quarter, there's a nonstop innovation process where we continue to build value for holders, right, and users of our platforms, whether it be ApeCoin, whether it be meme farm, whether it be Bust.
Great. This is wonderful. So let's open it up. Let's see, do we have Floppy Drive? You're here. If you'd like to request to speak, we're happy to have you. But otherwise, we're going to go ahead and start calling on anyone who raises their hand with a question. And I'd love to know, Meow Meow, if you're in here, if you have anything that you'd like to add or anything that you'd like to ask.
And yeah, I'll think of it like a little bit later. But I think we can. Meanwhile, we can allow someone to ask a question. So I want to ask the audience. Do anyone wants to ask a question here? Oh.
This is Floppy Drive. I have a quick question. Are there any plans, or are there any Telegram groups for meme farm yet?
So we have the ApeCoin and meme farm Telegram consolidated into one, just to kind of simplify things for everybody. BustBNB does have its own Telegram, but yeah. So all the information you're looking for is going to be located in the ApeCoin Telegram. We haven't siloed it off yet. We are strongly considering shifting it over. Just kind of a human resources issue, right? Just making sure that we can manage all the channels.
Oh, I actually have a question. I remember when I want to ask. Right. Since you have talked about this Game Boy, and I'm very nostalgic because when I was a kid, when I was like 3 or 4 years old, I had the yellow, actually black and white Game Boy, and it was presented me while I was in Japan. So I just want to ask one thing: will I be able to play the old Nintendo games on it?
It is a fully functional Game Boy that is skinned out in meme farm paraphernalia. So it's fully functional. You will be able to. It's a real Game Boy. You'll be able to play whatever game you want on it.
Damn, I want to play some Pokemon again.
Well,
I'm really nostalgic
I'm really not
about this. That's like
about
my childhood.
sounds like you need to get farming on meme farm and have a chance to win it.
Hell yes. All right, I see another question from Milko Kiko, and we're gonna allow him to speak. Yep. Milko, are you here with us?
So, hi, good evening. What do you think about Bitcoin this year? Where will price finish?
I think it's not. It is not the question which.
You're gonna dig into my technical analysis soul, my original trader personality. What I would love to see, I'll tell you what I would like to see. I don't know. I'm not going to tell you what I think is going to happen. I'll tell you what I'd like to see. I'd love to see us chop around between 35 and 45,000 for a few months over the summer doldrums. Have a nice reaccumulation phase, and then in the fall, potentially make another run for a new all-time high. That's what I'd like to see. If I could have what I wanted, that's what I want to happen. I think a nice reaccumulation period would be very healthy for the market. It would give a lot of altcoins time to shine, and that's as a trader and investor, that's what I'd like to see in the crypto space.
Great answer.
Okay, I have another question. It comes actually from YouTube, from Simon Rashford. Are there any plans to burn any ape or meme farm tokens?
There's actually a number of things we're working on. So there is going to be an Upcoin ape coin burn and an Upcoin meme farm burn that are in the works. Those will both be announced. Beyond that, the Busta B&B game will have ApeCoin and meme farm burns built into it, and that is going to be when the actual game launches. It's going to be very exciting for ApeCoin and both meme farm holders. So yeah, I'm pumped, and the Bust ecosystem that we're building is really something special. So I'm really looking forward to letting all those details leak over the next couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. I think we have room for one more question, right?
Yeah, we've got time for one more.
Yeah. Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
Geek Aloof. Oof. I'm gonna allow this to speak. Geek. He raised his hand, so.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead, Gig.
Hey guys, I'm sure this question's already been asked, but regarding the meme farm airdrop, if we are currently staking, will we be eligible for the airdrop?
I don't think anyone's asked that question yet. But yes, you will be.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for your questions. And Mark, thank you for your time. Thank you for coming into our community and helping us to understand how we can participate and benefit from everything you're creating over there. And, for coming in as a partner with Wall Street Bets and being a place that, artists in our community can come to with their NFT projects. I think this is an incredible resource for us to have and an incredible relationship for us to have. So thank you so much for your time.
You're very, very welcome. I'm so happy to come on. Like I said, I love the community, and I'm looking forward to building with you guys. And yeah, it's a good time.
All right, great. And so to everyone here, thank you for showing up today, and thank you for your questions. We are going to sign off, but you are more than welcome to reach out with direct questions. You can follow me on Twitter. It's @MilVenus. And, we look forward to talking to you again next week.
Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube for seeing all the recordings of the AMA and all that stuff. So I need to chill my own.
Let's not forget Meow Meow. He's the linchpin of our society. The most important part. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah. Cheers, everyone. Thank you.